how we do it the Chinese way. Roasted pork. So good. I was hoping there'd be two of these, so we could.
No, you.
But I'll do it.
Classy.
I'll do it. I'll do it for the whatever, and also because at home, whenever my mom buys barbecue meat or chicken, she always leaves this.
For you?
Correct.
When you're about to lose something, that's kind of when you realize how important is it to me. Like growing up, I never thought about Chinatown wouldn't be around or that I really cared about it that much. But it wasn't until the risk of, oh, it might not be here. What would that mean to not just me, but to our entire community, even to our history of Canada?
With food prices skyrocketing, can we still get a delicious meal in Vancouver on a shoestring budget? Join us as we visit some of the most delicious yet overlooked and Michelin-worthy restaurants in Vancouver. Be the first to find out about these hidden gems before everyone else hears about them.
My name is Amelie Tuina Nguyen. I'm a restaurateur, mom of two, and I love to gather and amplify positive stories. My family and I created an award-winning restaurant in Vancouver, and I would love to see more heirloom recipes shared and showcased around the world.
I am Trudy Tran. I am a self-proclaimed foodie who is always in search of my next great meal. This pursuit has led me to many great adventures. I've eaten everything from street food vendors to Michelin star restaurants across the globe. And now, I'm ready to showcase what Vancouver has to offer.
We are both on a journey to find local neighborhood gems with delicious eats and human stories and connection behind the food. We'll travel through struggles and triumphs behind Vancouver's hidden food scene. Watch, follow, subscribe, and share!
So as we coming in here, it's a Chinatown BBQ. That's the reason we want to make it as authentic. That's why it was being named Chinatown BBQ. Yes. We want to make sure we are serving authentic Hong Kong style barbecue to the public, to the guests in Chinatown. Yes. Yeah, I think that's our goal, to make it revitalize Chinatown on food and beverage. That was my mission. For Carol, she have a bigger mission, but that's me.
Hi, I'm Carol from Chinatown BBQ. My assistant and I did this on the side of our desk. So that was in 2017, and she just graduated from Sauder, and it was so cute. Her name's Elizabeth, and luckily she could speak Cantonese. But anyways, we were sort of doing it, and we're like, oh, we bought the dishes, and we got the architect and everything. 2 weeks before we're opening, somebody said, oh, do you have a manager? And we looked at each other and was like, we need a manager? No manager. No, my dad said, you can't open a restaurant, you don't know anything about it. And I said, well, I'm going to use like a business case study.
Yes.
Like if we keep the things that we love about Chinese restaurants, which I would say were, the mom and pop feel, the delicious food, authentic food, at a good value proposition, but sort of improve some of the things that are not so good, like ambiance, cleanliness, bathrooms, service. If you put that together using the same people, what is the outcome? And I'm very happy, like according to Google, we're like, I think one of the top Chinese rated restaurants, but actually one of the top restaurants, period. And not because, I said to somebody, just because of the food. I think it's many different attributes, and that for me was raising the bar. And I think especially for this restaurant, having the historical photographs that represented people that grew up in the neighborhood, to me is makes it, I think, them feel like this is their place.
So coming in here just feels very comforting, right? And food to us, it brings comfort.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of, it's very nostalgic. It reminds me of the restaurants that we dined in as kids. The ones that our parents took us to, and now we're taking our parents to it, and they're old. And it's like this cycle, and it's lovely.
I love that story, and that was really a big part of why I wanted it to look this way. We want to make sure that the people whose neighborhood it was still feel it's their neighborhood.
Yes.
And so that's why, I only speak English, and it's like, oh, how are we going to make it so that, language is an important part of the cultural heritage. So actually, all the people here speak Cantonese. They also speak English, but Cantonese is mostly their first language. Because I wanted those sort of the old timers, the people whose neighborhood was, to be able to come in here and make them feel like it was still their place.
Tell us about yourself and where, you know, where your family's from. And
So I'm second generation Chinese Canadian. I was born in Vancouver, and my father was born in Vancouver. My mother was born in Alert Bay. So that was a kind of an interesting story. Well, in those days, you know, my grandfather in the 1920s went up to try and get a job at a logging camp, the northern tip of Vancouver Island, a place called Telegraph Cove. And when he arrived, they said, "Oh, we don't hire Chinese people. You know, think about going across the inlet, and there's a place called Alert Bay, and it was a First Nations fishing village." So that's where my mother grew up. So my mother was born there, and then came to UBC. Her 5 siblings, they all went to UBC, and that's where she met my dad. So, so anyways, we have deep roots in Chinatown. My grandfather had a store here that he established in 1921.
yes.
It's a place where I've had my office since I moved back to Vancouver in 2004.
That's right.
And so, you know, Chinatown, I think, has, just as you were talking about, has a special place for all of us. And because almost every immigrant, Asian immigrant that came to Vancouver, found their footing in Chinatown.
You've never owned a restaurant. You're not a restaurateur. So why did you start with opening up a restaurant in Chinatown as part of your mission, as part of your project?
Well, so, you know, I started on the Chinatown revitalization sort of my effort in 2012. And our strategy was wrapped around 3 interconnected pillars: physical revitalization and social housing, cultural revitalization, and economic revitalization. And I felt that under the economic piece, a vibrant restaurant sort of scene was really the underpinning of a successful Chinatown. And it was too risky for the foundation to take on. So I kind of put up my hand and I said I was going to give it a try. So coincidentally, what happened is, you know, many years ago, you know, I used to go to Daisy Garden a lot, and I had the number of like one of the waitresses. And so when it really was unfortunate, it burned down, and I called her afterwards. It's like, well, what is all the staff going to do? And they weren't sure. So she said, well, maybe some of them can, you know, because I was thinking of, I had already rented this place. And I said, well, maybe some of them could come and work. You know, I wasn't going to do a barbecue restaurant. We were going to do something else. But then it was like, here's this amazing talent pool, and, you know, maybe I could recreate a barbecue restaurant. And that's what I did. And so I feel very lucky that, you know, some of those original workers from the Daisy Garden were working here when we started. And so that is, yeah, in some ways, it was really quite accidental. I knew I was going to do a restaurant, but I didn't really think I was going to do a barbecue restaurant. I would have done like a tea house or something. Yeah, that was actually the original plan.
We're gonna start with the
Roasted
roasted
pork.
pork. The key is that piece of
Skin.
skin.
It has to be crunchy.
Yeah,
So do you eat all the fat in between?
I love it.
This
I
is
love
like
it.
pork-
That's what makes
This is
it-
pork belly, right?
it's pork belly. And like what they did was they actually stabbed the skin like 10,000 times before they roast it so that the oil comes out and the skin gets super crispy. So crispy. This is my favorite. I think out of all the barbecue meats, this would be my second favorite.
Wow.
Barbecue duck.
Something different from outside the barbecue.
Oh.
We have the AAA beef finger curry.
Wow.
Thank
I didn't
you.
even realize they serve curry here.
That's all you're happy.
Oh my god.
This is quite the meal.
I'm not leaving. Here's the half skinny, half skinny, half fat.
Yeah.
How do you say it?
Bun fei zao. In Cantonese, it's called bun fei zao. Half fatty, half skinny.
So this is when
So-
we go to the restaurant, we need to order this, right?
Correct. This is how you should eat a barbecue pork. You should ask always, I mean, if you don't mind a little bit of fat, half skinny is the way to go. You know, when they barbecued it, we saw it come out of the oven, but you get the burnt parts a little bit, and when you bite into that, there's so much flavor in it.
It's like candied pork. Tastes like candied pork. You know how there's candied salmon?
Yeah. Well, I was
Which
talking
has-
to Chef Jimmy this morning. He said the key to good barbecue is not in the sauce or the marinade, because everybody has a very similar marinade or sauce. The key is in the timing of how long the barbecue is in the oven for.
Oh.
Yeah, and if you have it perfectly timed, that's when you have tender meat.
And look, this one is like soya chicken. So like
Yeah.
it's marinated in a sweet soy or something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And traditionally we eat this with what? There's
With
a
this.
special dipping sauce.
With a scallion ginger oil.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's a little bit savory, it's a little bit gingery.
Bit hairy.
And what it does for the chicken is it gives it more flavor. But you know what I love is I love adding this to the rice. And it gives the rice that nice little oil, and it makes it so delicious. So tender. Oh yeah. So good. Oh, that one melts in your mouth. That's so delicious. Oh wow. Nowadays, you can eat this every day. In fact, we consider it fast food. But back in the day, it was very special because it wasn't cheap compared to just, cooking yourself, right? But we're now gonna go to my favorite barbecue meat. Out of all of it, ever since I was a kid, this is my favorite. I was hoping there'd be two of these so we could.
No, you.
But I'll do it.
Classy.
I'll do it. I'll do it for the whatever, and also because at home, whenever my mom buys barbecue meat or chicken, she always leaves this.
For you?
Correct. So,
But then like they get rid of the fat in between.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you get rid? I want to know this process. How do
well, when
get-
you dry the skin, it sort of like separates from the fat when you roast, and then the fat melts away. So that's why it's not like they cut it off. It's just it melted
It's like
it off.
duck confit.
Correct. And where does that fat go? It goes into the meat so that the meat is not dry.
Okay, and I love dipping that in plum sauce.
Yes, you gotta have the plum sauce.
Right?
The plum sauce makes it sweet, tangy. It like complements so well with the savoriness of the duck.
Yum. Okay.
Okay,
Ooh, look
shall
at
we?
that. Duck cheers.
I love barbecue duck. So good.
If anyone from any other ethnic background, dreamed of revitalizing their community, what would you say? Where would they start?
I think the starting point is finding a small group of people that feel very passionately about trying to revitalize that community. And I think that's all it takes. It's like the Margaret Mead comment. Don't underestimate the ability of a small, committed group of citizens to change the world.
Indeed, it has.
Ever since you've opened up this restaurant, I've come to Chinatown a lot more. And every time I come, I think of my mom, and I think of all the memories we used to have here. And so I think what you're doing is amazing. And I look forward to seeing you, do that for not just, our generation, but many more generations to come, so that they'll remember Chinatown in a completely different way.
Thanks. That was you actually summarized why I wanted to do this project in the first place. So much of the reason why I love Chinatown, it's all of those memories. And you don't even realize how important they are until later.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a photo. This is me.
You reminded me why I did it in the first place.
Needless to say, we chose this place because the food is delicious. But I think, having come here, having spoken to Carol, I realized that this is a bridge. It's just a spark. It's the beginning of something much bigger than that we can probably even imagine. Maybe Carol has imagined it, but I think in history, with time, right now maybe we don't clearly see it, but within 5-10 years, we might look back and say, the spark that revitalized Chinatown might have started right here. And so we're very proud to be sitting in these spots, eating this, showcasing it, and one day say, we knew it would happen, and we knew it happened there. So thank you very much for watching. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow us.
Munchies to Michelin.
See you soon.